Having said that, one of the very important things that I always live by is extensively preparing for the interview.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another series of podcast. I am Chandan Palwar from Grow Junction. I welcome you all to a gonna be insightful consulting focused podcast that is again powered by Grow Junction. Today we have one of the eminent personalities with us, Ms. Paricheeta Rajee. She is a pragmatic business consultant with experience of working on APIs, banking systems, loyalty program platforms, and open banking solutions. She's also proficient in streamlining customer journeys, enabling development and integration of new banking products, driving large scale transformations and change management. Her only aim is to succeed in an environment of growth and excellence and earn a job which gives her job satisfaction and self development, along with helping herself achieve personal as well as the organizational goals. She is currently working as a senior consultant at Wipro and also have completed her MBA in marketing from Xavier Institute of Management in 2018. Now, let's unite together and have her on board with us for an insightful consulting focused conversation. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, Chandan. I am good. How are you?
I'm good too. I hope I didn't miss out any of the,
No,
any
no,
particular
no.
specifics in your introduction.
Definitely not. That was thanks for that, alluring introduction. I hope it reaches my bosses also. So, you know,
Well, that's great. I think we can start this particular podcast, and I am sure about it. Consulting is something that majority of the audience is interested in. So, well, let's start it. So, I must have missed upon few of the elements in your introduction. All that I know about you is your achievements, but we do not know how exactly did you achieve particularly those achievements. So can you please have some idea to our audience regarding your personal achievements and also the professional achievements?
sure. So, I graduated from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneshwar in 2018, with a marketing major. Honestly, by then I had no idea what my area of interest was. So my educational streamlining is very weird. I was a science graduate from 12th grade. Then I went ahead to do BSc with physics honors, and then I ended up doing an MBA. So it's a very varied fields I come from, and it was also a very niche combination. And I joined Wipro right after my graduation. I was a campus hire, and the only thing that I remember seeing in the job description was a domain consultant. And
Okay.
my knowledge of jobs by then, or a career or a growth, was very limited. It was just hearsay. What my seniors said, what my classmates said, and another very interesting fact was that I was one of the youngest in my batch. So it was like a lot of people saying a lot of things. So I just went ahead because, frankly, Wipro was an established name, and domain consultant seemed like something that would interest me, and that's how I landed up at Wipro.
Well, that's great. So
Since
like
then, I have been with them.
okay, got it. So you said that you belong to a science background altogether, and then change your career to physics honors. That's again for your into a science background. Then all of a sudden you did your MBA from Xavier's Institute, and now you are being a consultant. So what could be the possible challenges having a diverse background altogether? So what could be the challenges you must have faced in your life, being from a science background to achieving the consultancy objectives?
So I have always been a very confused kid. Like, I have to try my hands at everything that I
I'm
get.
sure I
And
just need to give you an honesty award to you later on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, frankly, and I always believe that a lot of people are like that. And so you should go with your gut feeling. That has been my decision-making process. And I would not say that coming from a different background has been challenged, more like it has been a very, very different, fresh set of eyes, like you said, to a lot of things. Like in my day-to-day job, I interact with a lot of people, and most of them are so wired with the technicalities. They are so wired with the technology. They are so wired with, their background is that it's like they have blinders on to a very simple problem. Let's say an example of let's create a login page, right? So this is an example from my previous project where I was working with ICICI Bank. So I was leading their offer management platform, the integration end to end.
Okay.
So the thought was like, let's create a login page. And immediately everyone around me was like, oh, this, that, we should have a security, we should have this API integrated, we should have the payment gateway. And I was like, okay, I don't really have a background to that, but I'm a user, right? I know that.
Right.
And I face challenges as a user. So that has been my biggest gift for coming from a different background, is that I can actually put myself in the shoes of a user and solve problems rather than just thinking it from technical expertise or technical feasibility point of view.
Right. I think that's quite a unique approach that you basically relies upon.
Yeah, that has definitely helped.
Well, that's great. So before we start this particular podcast, before we get into more technicalities, we just want to hear how you found, what particular what particular moment did you find out your particular interest in consulting?
Oh, there are quite a few.
Okay.
There are quite a few.
So how exactly you made your interest in consulting department?
I always enjoyed talking to people. And I know this is not the general belief, and it's very, very common notion that consultants build solutions and they come up with ideas. Yes, but I think consultancy, the core of it lies at talking to people.
Right.
So I always enjoyed that. I always enjoyed that.
Okay. Yes.
So while I was when I joined Wipro, my first role was with procurement organization of Wipro. So we were working on the SAP Ariba implementation and support, and that kind of made me feel like I'm living the day in, day out as a very routine. There's nothing exciting. While the implementation part was definitely exciting, but post that, it quickly fizzled out and it was just support. And while understanding the product was great, but I found something amiss. And consultancy happened to me by accident. So when I joined Wipro, I had one of my HR friends. He was in Wipro for almost 30 years by then, and we quickly clicked it off because he was also heading our HR team for my initial project. So I was just having a discussion with him one of the days. I was like, Sridhar, something is not working out. I don't feel like coming to work because every day is the same and it's just sitting and waiting around for something to blow off and then solve it. He's like, so what do you want to do? It's like, no, something that is like exciting, something that is interesting, something that is, bringing something new. He's like, oh, you should work in Ekta Kapoor serials. Like, no, I mean, not that dramatic. That's when he let me know about an opening with ICICI, which is one of the biggest clients for Wipro. And they were looking for a consultant to to advise them, to work with them on their offer management system. They were completely revamping from their manual processes to complete digital transformation they were doing across the organization. So he said, if you would be interested, I can put in a word for you. Okay. And that's when it happened. So my boss at ICICI, this amazing lady, she just gave me a call and she was like, Paricheeta, we are looking for someone to lead the technical integration. Would you be able to do it? Because I don't doubt your skills, but you do not have any background of technology. Right. You studied physics, you did MBA, you did MBA in marketing, you do not have a single systems paper, so I'm just a little worried. It's like, let's give it a try. If you are willing to, gamble on me, I can promise I'll give you my best efforts. And she was like, okay, it would be nice to have a lady on the team, because it was a huge team of close to, she was the digital head of ICICI for transformational projects. And she was the only lady. There were a couple of women in, I can remember 2 or 3 of them in the development team, but in a vast team of close to 100 people that she was leading, there were hardly three women. So it's like, it would be nice to work with a lady on a daily basis. Welcome aboard.
Wow.
So that's how I landed up there, and that's how consulting happened. I never looked back after that.
I think that could be the journey, that has been made while you just, took your birth in this entire country. So I think that could be, well planned. That could be your destiny, this consultancy.
Yeah, I also think very similar to what you just said, that it was over lunch I was discussing with him, and from what I had heard back in college or at work, consultancy, you need experience, you need to have that maturity, which is fair, which is actually correct. So which had actually made me a little skeptical that will I ever be able to get into that segment? So yeah, definitely, like you said, destiny.
Right. Well, as we know that you are quite interested in consulting department, and also, looking forward to, step ahead in your career ladder in this particular domain. So, before we, understand what could be the possible career opportunities for you working at, Wipro. So before we understanding that, let's try to understand the roles and responsibilities of yours at Wipro under the consulting as a senior consultant.
So as a senior consultant at Wipro, my everyday activities primarily involve communicating across a lot of teams. Like any given day, I would be talking to someone from the data platforms team, from the development team, from the business team, from the product team, from the technology team. So, you talk to a lot of people. Okay. And that starts your day, talking to a lot of people. Okay. But along with that, you are responsible for designing the solution. Right. Say, like the client comes and tells you, for example, we need to create an offer management system. And these are the couple of vendors we have, and they are providing these kind of services. Can you just let us know which is the best one? This is just what comes from the client, and then you go on a spree of analysis of the vendor, understanding what they provide. So you talk to vendor a lot, you talk to your business teams a lot, you talk to the product teams a lot. So a typical day is a lot of phone calls, talking to a lot of people, giving their opinions from different point of views on the same thing. And then it is up to you to decide, okay, let's go with this. So yeah, my typical day involves a lot of discussions, a lot of meetings, a lot of solutionizing, a lot of that. So basically it's just talk to a lot of people and then come with the best solution.
Got it. As you said that, you basically entertain calls from various departments under Wipro organization. So I've also, conducted one podcast before this into the product management domain. So there was a product manager at some company, and she also told me that, she is responsible for handling so many departments aligned in her organization. So what exactly differentiates being a senior consultant or a product manager? Because both of these, key job roles have an integration of, conversing to many departments. So what is something basically, differentiate between both of these job roles, according to you?
So, as for me, both these job roles have a lot of overlapping responsibilities,
Okay.
definitely, and the core of it is also very similar. But what differentiates the differentiating factor is the decision making, right? And also the scope of decision making. A product manager has from what we do at Wipro, a product manager has the purview for a very limited scope for his or her particular product, or maybe as far as going to say domain, say credit cards, debit cards, or finance for that matter. But for a consultant, the purview is quite large. Like right now, I am working with VF which is an apparel company based out of the States. And I am managing their packaging, shipping, and manufacturing.
Okay.
So you see, my stream changed from being a banking consultant to a retail strategy consultant within a span of couple of months. And by having said that, the purview for me to decide or to solutionize or to build, integrations varies, and that creates a portfolio of products to make a decision on. Right. So the product manager is very niche, and a consultant has a wider scope. That's primarily the.
Got it. I understand that. So as you told that, earlier you were having some, experience in the banking segment, and now altogether you are into this retail segment, and also some segments that is a core business, not core banking, but in a core business segment. So what exactly, what could be the differentiation among both of these industries working there as a senior consultant? Like where did you work and enjoyed, your job role more?
You're going to get me fired if I answer this question.
Okay, well, let me modify this question then. So what could be the possible, differentiation among both of these industries while working in?
They are very different, to say the least, because the retail industry, especially consumer products and goods industry, they are very fast moving, right? So the solutions also they expect are very fast paced.
Okay.
While in the bank, the integrations or the solutions, whatever transformation projects we undertake, it's usually as a banking consultant across the organization, which is comparatively slower. It has a wider time frame, longer time frame as compared to what is expected out of the current retail industry consult. So here the decision making has to be very, very fast. It has to be very, very quick. It has to be very, very, how do I say? It should involve like very less human intervention to get the things done quick, because there are thousands of packages being shipped every day. So we cannot have a solution which requires someone to actually sit and enter a lot of data into the system.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
On the contrary, on the banking segment, they actually encourage having a lot of information because it involves the finances of the customer. So the core difference is the timeline that is allowed to, the scope that you are allowed to take a decision in, or to change or to implement any program. It's primarily that. It's a lot quicker here.
Okay. Like before we take, this conversation ahead, before we take this, I just need to let you know that, I need to stop here, and I just need to, appreciate you for a well-defined answer. Like I am keep, considering the fact that you are answering to my questions, my few set of questions, so in a, in a structured format, and I'm really very, very impressed by yours performance here. So I
Thank you.
think 4 years at company like Wipro have made you achieve a lot, must say.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
I just need to, yeah, so I'm really sorry for the audience who just, just altogether a break comes across. I'm really sorry for that, but I needed to do this. Yes, ma'am.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so before, yeah, now we have understood regarding, your work experience at Wipro, the difference between the consultant and also product manager, also difference between two industries, the banking segment and also the retail segment. So now we'll be talking about what could be the detailed process on how one, how to research a particular company or an industry.
Right. So, first, when you are like, especially for freshers, it's a tough nut to crack. Honestly, it can be very confusing. It can be very delusional also, which can harm you in ways you have not comprehended. So, my approach or my suggestion to whoever is looking out is that try to grasp what interests you when you are in college. What appeals to you as an individual. It can be something as small as OB, right? Organizational behavior. And you find it very interesting, then that gives you an insight that sitting somewhere and doing a systems job or working into something that is completely technical is not your cup of tea, right? So how I would say one should research the company, research the industry they are going in, starts with the job description.
Okay.
I know the biggest hurdle for someone when they are applying to a job is a very vague job description, a very two-liner job description. That's hard. That's definitely hard. But having said that, when you have a job description at hand, that's where you start. If your JD says you are a domain consultant, you can reach out to people from the organization. If you have that resource available, you can talk to people from your own college who have been part of that organization. If you can find them, try to understand how the role is defined in that organization. Like, say, for example, what exactly does a domain consultant do? I had this misconception when I was applying to Wipro, saying that domain consultant is going to be someone who is advising them on their marketing strategies, right? Which was not the case, not at least when I started. So I could have done a much better job at understanding the role by connecting with people from the organization. If not find the exact job designation or title, anywhere around consultant, senior consultant, or things techno-functional consultant would have given me a lot of inputs in terms of what I was getting it.
Right.
That's a start.
Right.
And then they can go ahead to research the company, the basic research. So researching a company is not as important as researching the job that you are applying. And another very important thing to research when you are applying to a job is the work culture.
Okay.
There are companies which pay you great, who give you a great role, but they completely mess around with your work-life balance. So if that's something that works for you, go for it. That's great. But if that's not something that you are looking for, then you should actually research deeper. But yeah, okay. Start with your job description. That's your first thing.
Understood. So that could be, the basic instructions that you want to give to the consultants here or an aspiring consultants. So like moving on, from the job description, now is there any, some source of research tools that a consultant use in its daily activities? Do you want to put up some lights to that topic?
Uh, so from what I have worked with,
Okay.
I don't really use many tools in my everyday life,
Okay.
right? So I primarily work with Wipro in building in-house solutions for the clients, for VF Corp and Contour brands, which they split a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So we build in-house solutions and work with the development teams at Wipro. So as a consultant, you don't have to be an expert in using any particular tool, but yeah, if you have an understanding of Jira, have an understanding of Confluence, that gives you upper hand. That's something everyone aspiring to be a consultant, to be a product manager, uh, aspiring to get into the industry, to be leaders, they need to know. That's something that's very critical. So yeah, start with your Jira, start with Confluence.
Got it. Got it. That's great. I think that's a well explanation to this particular question. So now understanding the time constraints that we do have and also the time commitment for you at the Wipro. So now I would say just, the last, but one of the most important question to the audience who are currently watching this video, how can one crack an interview of a consulting domain? So can you, put some light to this particular question? So how one should prepare themselves in order to gain a job in the consulting domain?
So first of all the best, everyone. Put your best foot forward, be confident, be honest, and you'll get through. Having said that, one of the very important things that I always live by is extensively preparing for the interview. Meaning, to get whatever information you can. Okay. Their latest news, their recent acquires, their downfalls, their uphill roads, everything. Research the company in and out.
Okay.
Right? And it's not specific to being an aspiring consultant or a product manager. It's for the job that you are going to get. It's for any job that you are applying to. It shows your sincerity. As a recruiter, if I am a recruiter, when I am interviewing people, this is what I look at. How dedicatedly, how much efforts a candidate has put into researching the company that they are applying to. That's number one.
Okay.
And you can follow it up with researching. If you can find the person, then you can understand the fields they have been in, they have worked in, they want to work in, so on and so forth. But as a consultant, it's very, very important that if you're aspiring to be a consultant, you display confidence.
Okay.
You have to display confidence. You have to be confident of your skills. You have to be honest about what you're aware of and what you're not. See, as an interviewer, the person understands that, the interview might not know everything, right? And same goes the case for the interviewer as well. Unless it's something very basic, it's expected that the other person doesn't know.
Right.
So if you are honest enough to admit that that is something you are not aware of, that shows integrity with sense.
Right.
So yeah, be confident, be honest. Good luck.
Well, I think that could be the possible best, an interview advice to the students or the viewers who are currently watching this video. If the students are finding this particular video, entertaining and also insightful in helping you seek education and in helping you seek knowledge regarding how to clear an interview of consulting, then do hit the like button and also subscribe this YouTube channel, the Grow Junction channel. So, coming to the closure, thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in with us on this auspicious day. And I'm sure this is Navratri, here, and you have made out time of your own self, and apart from on the particular weekday. So we are shooting this particular video on the Thursday part, and
Thursday afternoon, yeah.
afternoon. So I'm sure about it that you must be having your work commitment at Wipro right now, but you're still managing out your time regarding for this particular podcast. So thank you so much for joining in and also being so sweet to our lovely audience.
Thank you, Chandan, for having me. Happy Navratri, everyone, and have fun.